What's up guys, Bryan here. Welcome to Lockdown Guitar Lessons number 3. Today I'm going to talk about 3 things. First is going to be extending our idea from the previous video about technique. Today's rule, if you like, is always keeping our fingers as low as possible, as close to the strings and the fretboard as much as possible. The second rule that I introduced today would be each finger for each fret. Okay, this is a concept that I love to use just because it keeps me in one position and I can sort of fairly easily manage my playing that way. And if I need to move positions, I'll make a switch and be very clear where that switch is, rather than having the fingers going all over the place. So I always have a set position that my hand is in. Third thing, last but not least, is the fact that whenever I have to stretch, I only do it with my first and the second finger, like this. And I never do it more than 2 frets as a general rule, and I never stretch between my second and third finger like this, and I never stretch between the third and the fourth finger as well, so I never do that. But what I do is move my hand, so I always keep a free thumb, so my thumb is always moving, so my hand is not limited to one position and I can access the fretboard very quickly and easily. So just a quick recap and perhaps a few demonstrations or examples. I'm just going to play with my fingers very low and always close to the strings. The reason why we might want to keep our fingers low is because when we need them, they can come a lot quicker than let's say if the pinky was behind the neck, which happens a lot of the time, especially when your fingers haven't really trained up to that point where you can use them independently. So a lot of the time I see people playing with the third finger. Let's say we have to play A, B, A, B. I always see them when they're playing A with the first finger, that's all good. But when they start playing the B with the third finger, their hand goes like this. Okay, these fingers are too far away. For some of my younger students, I'll say to them, imagine there's an electric fence over here. So your fingers shouldn't really be touching that fence. And your fingers should be always no more than 1 centimeter away from the strings. If you aim for that, even if it was 2 centimeters away, it's still not that far. Okay, the other thing is moving your whole hand rather than just the fingers. I even sometimes move my thumb. So my hand is literally going from here to here to here to here, even though I'm in the same position, or moving to a position that's not that far away. For example, moving 1 fret up. Of course you can manage with just a stretch, but I prefer not to stretch when I can move. Okay, the other thing is I kind of adopted a classical guitar technique probably, with always having the fingers supporting the finger that you're playing on. So if you're playing on the second finger, I always have the first finger behind it to support it. Probably because I used to play violin as well, so I come from a classical music background. And that's considered very useful. Yeah, you don't have to just play with the second finger, but you can have the first finger behind. This will come in handy when you have to pull off or hammer on. This also links in with the bends that I did in another video. So I always have what's called a support finger behind, let's say, the third finger if I were to bend. So first and second finger are always behind it. And same for the fourth finger. Now when I used to play violin, when I played with my fourth finger, I always had the third finger with it. And this just eliminates the scenario where the pinky will work on its own, which is super inconvenient, I'd say, and super unstable. Whereas having these two work together, and the thing is, they don't even have to be separated by the fret. Okay, if I'm over here, I can simply put my fingers down however I like without regards to the fret numbers. Okay, because they are just support fingers and they're not actually playing. So you can see here, my first finger and second finger are sort of on the second fret, and my third finger is in the same fret as the fourth finger, okay, which is on the third fret. This also links in with the previous video about, so I hope this gives you a little bit of an insight into my concept behind the set of techniques that I use. Obviously there are no right or wrong answers, but this is the stuff that I found very useful for myself. Subscribe to this channel if you like this kind of video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.